We'll get to another Browns topic here that we were planning
we're going to keep
talk
our
about.
coach talk going here in a minute. Earl and I are keeping an eye out for details, but before we move on, I want to remind everybody that it's winners take all time in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel is giving you guys a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and so much more. All you have to do is visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
All right. So this next topic is based on an article, I think it was from CBS Sports,
Sports
right?
Illustrated.
Oh, Sports Illustrated. That's right. That was another article, CBS Sports. Sports Illustrated ranked all 32 teams in terms of the coach-quarterback combo. So where did the Browns end up on this list? We're going to get to it. What do you got for us there, Anthony?
The Browns ended up at 21st, but we're going to run you guys through the first 5 here in this first graphic. Oh, Steve, you can take 223 here.
Okay.
It's Mahomes and Reed, Jackson and Harbaugh, Stafford and McVay, Stroud and Ryans, Love and LaFleur.
LaFleur's close.
You can go next, Steve.
I don't agree with that with these.
I have a lot of issues with this list.
Mike has a lot of issues with
Herbert
these.
and Harbaugh, Burrow and Taylor, Allen McDermott, Purdy, Shanahan, Goff and Campbell. Okay.
And then the Browns came in at 21, so we did 20 through 24.
Behind Baker and Bowles.
Yeah. And then Watson, Stefanski, 21.
I really would like to see, we don't have the graphics for in between 11 and 20, right?
And could read it if he wants. We didn't make them all because then it turns into us reading it.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Can I start with this one? This
Go
really
ahead.
pissed me off. And not necessarily for the Browns ranking in particular.
By the way, it's a random list. It shouldn't piss you off. What are you, me?
No, it's annoying because.
Piss you off.
No, it did because.
Yeah, go ahead.
They ranked each quarterback 1 through 31 and each head coach 1 through 31. If you
Right.
actually clicked in the article, they did it. They did
it was
their
31.
combo.
It wasn't
Or
32.
32.
Yeah,
32.
yeah.
So they did it. They did it individually, and they did
Yeah.
the cumulative score.
Right.
And Watson was 23rd on the quarterbacks, and Stefanski was 19 on the head coaches.
19?
That's what I'm getting to.
Yeah.
If you go through all of these, I had an issue with, and I've made a whole list of things I had an issue with. The Watson quarterback ranking, we could argue 23, 21.
Right now that's about fair.
I don't really want to argue Watson where
Yeah.
he ranks because we just don't know.
Yeah.
To put Stefanski as the 19th best head coach in football behind a ton of guys, like Zach Taylor was 12, for example. And I know Zach Taylor has a Super Bowl experience.
Yeah.
But he's a guy who, if you want to argue, they're not 7 spots apart. I'm not sure what Stefanski has to do.
Listen, I'm probably the only one qualified to compare Zach Taylor and Kevin Stefanski because I watched
And you would
every
take
team.
Stefanski.
I'd probably take Stefanski. Now, I think Zach Taylor's been unfairly over-criticized, but you could certainly – Zach Taylor's won a lot more playoff games than Kevin Stefanski has.
Yes.
So there's certainly an argument to make for Zach Taylor. I would ultimately choose Kevin Stefanski, but clearly Zach Taylor has had more on-the-field success where it matters the most. So that's fair. But there are definitely guys ahead of Kevin Stefanski that shouldn't be.
A couple other names,
Go
like
ahead.
Mike McCarthy at 15. And once again, I know he's a Super Bowl. That was a decade and a half.
Yeah, he hasn't had success in a long time.
If you were picking Stefanski or Mike McCarthy, 32 teams are picking Kevin Stefanski right now.
I don't know about 32, but
29
I think a
teams,
lot
fine.
would.
There are some other guys. Doug Peterson, another guy right now, if I think you're weighing. And when you look at how they weighed quarterback ranking to head coach ranking to come to this cumulative number.
The quarterback should be heavier.
Should be way heavier.
Yeah.
And if that's why the Browns are at 21, I still disagree with that over some of the ones that are
Right.
there. But in general, when you're looking at both sides of this equation, the quarterback and the head coach that come together, I know there's a tiny, tiny sample size of the Watson-Stefanski duo.
Right.
It's 11, 12 games in 2 years now, and that's it. So I understand the sample size for those two on the field is minimal, but they didn't say it's based off what they've done on the field. It was the quarterback ranking and the coach ranking combined together. And to put the Browns at 21 and Stefanski at 19 in particular, I thought just a giant miss on Sports Illustrated's part.
So how many guys where do you think Kevin Stefanski is in the coach rankings?
He has 2 Coach of the Years in 4 seasons.
I don't factor that in.
I'm just saying that's
kind of hard not to factor.
I don't. Or
that's
minimally.
That's like saying.
Do you think Kevin Stefanski was the best coach in the NFL last year?
But you got to think
he
about
won 11
this.
games with 4 quarterbacks.
I mean,
that's an incredible.
How many teams, how many coaches would have went to the playoffs with that roster?
That's the question to ask.
I think half the league would have gone.
You think half the? See, I disagree.
I think about 4 people.
You think Kevin Stefanski's the 5th best coach in the league?
No, I think it's a sliding scale, but
yeah. I mean, you wanted him. It's funny because you've wanted him fired for a while. I've defended him all the time, and I'm saying half the coaches in the league.
So what happened? So what happened in that time period? In that time period,
I think we can't.
He's shown you in that time period. I got a little something extra that you didn't account for.
What I would say about Kevin Stefanski is what I say all the time. There are roughly, it's not exactly, roughly 5 coaches that are superstars. Kevin Stefanski is not one of them. There are roughly 5 coaches that are absolute shit. Kevin Stefanski is clearly not one of those guys. And then there's 20 some odd in between that could go either way.
Coach of the
year. I believe Kevin Stefanski's in that group. I think right now he's trending towards the higher end of that group, and I think maybe someday he can get into that elite group. But clearly there's no argument for putting him in that elite group, no matter how Coach of the Year because you've got to win when it matters.
Yeah.
Okay? If we're going to blame quarterbacks that can't win when it matters, then we got to blame coaches that can't win when it matters.
Here's the point.
Yeah.
When you look at it,
yeah.
Coach of the Year is basically saying that's the MVP for coaches.
I don't look at it that way, but okay.
I mean, there's only one award. How many awards they give out?
I'm saying they vote for the guy who did the most unexpectedly, not did the most.
Well, here's the thing.
I think he did the most with the least last year, though.
That
counts.
Was it really the least?
Yes.
Didn't Mike Tomlin look at Mike Tomlin had a quarterback?
And I said he should have been the second coach of the year last year.
P.J. Walker, come on.
P.J. Walker played 3 games.
And out of those games, they needed to win some to get to the playoffs.
I hear you, but he played 3 games.
He beat San Francisco.
DTR.
Now, again, he didn't play that much.
And then here's the thing: nobody wanted to bring in Joe Flacco. Everybody's like, "Nah, don't forget about Flacco." Okay. Not only did he go get him, but he turned him into it's Flaccavelli, and he was looking crazy.
Where would you put Kevin Stefanski in your coach rank?
Man,
between 8 and 12.
I agree. Somewhere 8 and 12.
But I agree too. So there's no argument.
But he's 19th on this list.
But I tend to put him higher. And it's like saying that you can't call Jokic one of the best centers of all time. Sure you can. He got 3 MVPs. Because he is.
An MVP is not the same as a coach of the year, in my opinion. Now, in your opinion, it might be. In my opinion, it's not. It's fine. We're both entitled to our opinions.
Now, do I rate Super Bowl victories over a coach of the years? Of course. If you got a Super Bowl, that's why I don't get mad. Like when somebody has like McVay.
Yeah.
Well, McVay's definitely better.
Yeah, come on, like
Mike McCarthy, who won a Super Bowl in 2010, 2009.
Yeah, right.
Do you still count that Super Bowl as a reason to put him ahead of Stefanski?
I would rather have Kevin Stefanski than Mike McCarthy.
I think most teams would.
But listen, in this division, you could argue Kevin Stefanski's number 4. You could make that argument.
I have a hard time putting him below Zach Taylor, even though Zach Taylor is the playoff success.
So what's your argument for Stefanski being ahead of Zach Taylor? Give me your argument.
He beats the Bengals a lot.
No, I mean, that certainly
What's
helps.
your argument?
I saw what he did last year.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Deshaun's the one quarterback he hasn't been able to get the absolute most out of.
Right.
He got the best from Baker, unless you want to argue that Tampa Bay
No,
did
he
last
didn't
year,
because Baker had his best season last year. No, there's no debate.
I mean, his numbers were better, but
he was better. This is by far his best season.
He got something from Baker that he then lost for 3-4 years before he got it back. He got the most from Jacoby Brissett.
Not completely true, but
he
go
got
ahead.
The most from P.J. Walker. He got the most out of Joe Flacco.
P.J. Walker, he didn't get the. P.J. Walker was terrible.
He beat San Francisco with P.J.
But
and
he
once
didn't
again,
play well.
They won in spite of P.J.
Let's live in facts land.
I agree.
P.J. Walker didn't play well. They got lucky to win with him.
He had a game-winning drive with 0 completions. I get that. But he still allowed P.J. Walker not to completely self-destruct and lose the game.
I mean, you can't take it the best out. P.J. Walker's played 12 games in the league.
And was his best game not San Francisco?
See, the Browns got an opportunity here. I think part of the reason that they rank these guys this at this level is because we kind of lean into the narrative a little bit. Like we are as tough on our teams as anybody is.
No. Maybe you mean like media? The fans of Cleveland are softer on the Browns than any fan bases on any team in the country.
So we saying the same. Like for me, when
we're tough on the Cavs and the Guardians. We're not tough on the Browns.
I'm tough on the Browns.
You are, but most of our fans are not.
And the reason, and so when you soft on your team, the national media is like, you guys are terrible. You guys are trash. Like you don't have nothing to stand on. Like I think the Browns this year have the opportunity to do something great. They got an opportunity to prove a lot of people incorrect. It's set up for them. Like we've heard, and guess what? I kind of like it. People before when we talk about the national media and how we wasn't getting no love. Well, when Baker was here and Odell was here, they was picking us to go to the Super Bowl, and we didn't get it done. They was doing a lot of things where we didn't have the years that we should have had when expectations is theirs. Now, people is kind of like, Coach of the Year, that don't really count. Yeah, y'all want to
Nobody's
playoffs.
saying that. I'm not saying it doesn't count. I'm saying we can't overstate what it means.
No.
We're not putting him in the class with George Halas.
No. But they don't put Stefanski in that list of the top guys.
But he shouldn't be, because the top guys have won Super Bowls or had double-digit wins continuous season.
That's fine. Like I said, I'm all about proving it.
Yeah.
Like I'm a prove me guy. Like if Stefanski and Watson can't get it done, y'all got all the opportunity to prove people wrong right now, because people don't expect y'all to do much.
Now, I agree that Kevin Stefanski is probably somewhere in the 8 to 12 range. And personally, as someone who, again, unlike most people, has watched every Browns and every Bengals game in their entire career, I've seen every game that Zach Taylor's coached. I've seen every game that Kevin Stefanski's coached. I bet there are not that many people that can say that. If it was up to me, I think Kevin Stefanski is the better coach. But there are a number of facts that people could argue against that.
His playoff record's 5-2. Stefanski's is 1-2.
Exactly.
Their regular season records are the inverse. Zach Taylor's a losing regular season record.
Yeah, but that's misleading.
I know, because he had Joe Burrow.
Because in the last few years, Stefanski does have the head-to-head edge. That's the one thing you got. But the point is, we can't make it seem like, Kevin Stefanski belongs there with Sean McVay and Andy Reid.
No,
I mean, that's just silly.
I just thought 19 on the list
19
was
ridiculous.
an egregious number.
19 is an egregious number. It's completely ridiculous. He should be higher. So let's say he belongs 10th. All right, let's say Deshaun.
Split the difference.
And let's say Deshaun Watson is 20th. That still puts you overall probably 16, 17, something like that. But, which is whatever. And what did they finish, 21st?
21st.
Yeah, the Browns should be higher. The Browns should be middle of the pack in that combo. Now, here's what's really important, guys. When we have this conversation next year, hopefully the Browns will be in the top 10.
They better be top 10.
Because Deshaun Watson plays like a top 10 quarterback next year. Because if that happens, then Stefanski's going to get more credibility. Then, you see, what's going to happen is if Deshaun Watson plays like a top 10 quarterback next year, then we're going to forget what happened the last 2 years.
It doesn't matter.
That's going to be taken out. Right now, we're getting to the point where a lot of people are starting to disregard what Deshaun Watson did in Houston.
Yeah.
A lot of people. I'm of the point where I'm not disregarding that, but I'm wondering if that could be him again.
Just a while ago.
And now what happens, but the narrative will change based on his season. If Deshaun Watson has a bad season, then what he did in Houston is completely off the table for almost everybody. If he has a great season, then we're going to say he was rusty, it was this. None of that mattered for the 2 years he was hurt, and now he's back to the player we thought he was.
Once he's back, he's Deshaun again. And
Exactly.
That's what we'll say.
Exactly.
Before we wrap up, I'm going to go over the numbers because we didn't do the numbers right before the Browns. I'll give you the 2019, 18, 17, 16. Let's just pick Browns, the Stefanski-Watson duo, or these other ones that Sports Illustrated ranked. At 20, they had Bowles and Baker. Would you rather Stefanski and Watson or Bowles
I would rather
and Baker?
Stefanski and
Watson.
I would take the Browns too.
Yeah.
19, the Bears. Matt Eberflus and Caleb Williams.
First of all, I almost cursed on TV. My mother.
I heard the first two
I
letters.
was like, wait, y'all gotta stop it. Are y'all getting paid? Like
It gets worse.
I keep looking at a guy who's never thrown the football that's getting ranked higher on these lists.
And I think Eberflus stinks.
Good
I would take the Browns
gracious.
too. 18, Peyton and Bo Nix.
Yeah, that's absurd.
That's
crazy.
This list was horrific.
Yeah.
We should have counted these down earlier.
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion, just like
can
we
we keep
are.
going?
Go ahead. Yeah.
17, Raheem Morris and Kirk Cousins.
I
think that's a fair. I think you can argue both sides.
Yeah.
I would personally take.
Raheem Morris is not better coach.
No.
No, but
Kirk Cousins
has been better than Deshaun Watson.
And they're both coming off
Cousins
injuries.
is old. He's also coming off a serious injury.
I would take the Browns because of the
I
uncertainty.
would lean towards the Browns on that too. I'm with you.
16, the Jets. Salah and Aaron Rodgers.
Easy Browns.
I would take the Browns too.
Yeah.
That's
I
my
think
point.
Salah,
When we started and we got
I know
sidetracked.
Jason loves Salah. I think he stinks.
When we got sidetracked, I told you this
He lets
list
Aaron
was terrible.
Rodgers runs roughshod over him.
15, McCarthy and Dak.
I hate McCarthy, but I think Dak is the most underrated quarterback in the league.
And I think he's the most overrated. But I would put them above them just because they got.
Browns
He just doesn't like him because he's black.
You'll say they don't like him. I was at spring break the time that he got in a fight down there.
Oh,
Dak got into a fight?
He got knocked out.
Got knocked
Really?
out.
Yeah,
I didn't remember that.
Panama
story.
City, man.
You could Google it. I'll read this next two, and you tell me if any of these other ones.
I'm torn on the Cowboy one because I really love Dak, but I don't like McCarthy. So go ahead.
I would hear arguments for both sides. I'm
Yeah.
just going to read the next couple. You tell me if you'd stop at any of these
Yeah.
before the Browns. The Dolphins are 14, McDaniel Tua.
I would definitely take the Browns.
Definitely take the Browns.
I
Yes.
would too.
Eagles 13, Sirianni Hurts.
As much as it fell apart last year, right now I think I'd still have to go Sirianni Hurts for me.
I would too.
12, Jacksonville, Peterson Lawrence.
No,
I would take the Browns.
11, Pittsburgh, Tomlin, Russell Wilson.
I would take.
No.
I don't like Russell Wilson.
No. I'm not taking Russell Wilson. Tomlin been 8-8 forever. No.
All right. You know what? Gee, you talked me into it.
And
It's
then
probably insane that we're saying that, but I'll take the Browns.
And the top 10, I don't think there's really an argument to put Stefanski and Watson over. Detroit at 9.
No.
Detroit 10, San Francisco
No.
9. It just refreshed on my phone. Buffalo 8.
No.
My phone would stop refreshing. Cincinnati 7, which is
Yeah, no. You can't.
Chargers 6. There you
I
can.
mean, he hasn't coached in a while in the NFL. There's been a lot of great coaches that have come back for a second run and it hasn't
haven't
gone
been good.
well.
I mean, they give it.
I don't understand how they're 6.
I don't either.
Is he living off of the
Yeah.
49ers years?
He has, by the way, Harbaugh, the 7th best NFL head coach, and Herbert, the 6th best quarterback.
Yeah. What did he have, Zach Taylor?
The 12th best head coach.
Yeah, I mean, I think Zach Taylor is probably right there, about 12, maybe 14, maybe 15.
Today, would you hire Harbaugh over Stefanski? Today.
That's a tough question.
It's tough because Harbaugh's a great coach, but
Today?
I'm probably stupid, but I would take Stefanski.
I would. Like,
Probably wrong,
ain't
but-
no, like, I didn't see, if we going to go into Deshaun Watson and say we ain't seen it in a while, we got to do the same with
That's
Harbaugh,
fair.
right?
That's fair. That's fair.
We ain't
And then
seen it.
Top 5 was Green Bay, Houston.
This
I mean,
is
LA,
super high. That
Baltimore.
one.
Well, I'll say this about
KC.
Green Bay. As much as a pain in the ass as Aaron Rodgers was, he kept winning. Now, he didn't have a great playoff success. And Jordan Love, who nobody was sure he was getting good, guy played like a superstar last year.
Yeah.
Especially
well.
in the second half. He was one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Played well.
Second half. So I got a lot of respect for the Packers.
That's a lot. That's high, too. It's
So what
high.
did we end up with? Just what ultimately we all said.
Between-
He's somewhere between 8 and 12.
Which, to be ranked 21st and 19th, shows how
Sure.
bad this list was. So,
Sure.
big picture,
but
we're on
a
the same
lot of
page.
that ranking, ultimately the worst part of it for the Browns was where was Stefanski ranked.
Yeah.
He was ranked too low.
Yeah.
He should have been 9 or 10 or 8 or 11,
Somewhere in that
whatever.
range, yeah.
He shouldn't have been 19. The Watson things, I don't know how the rankings
It's
of
a
the quarterback
complete
was. He
unknown.
probably maybe could have been 1 or 2 spots higher. But that's it.